Hello. Hello and welcome. Today, I just got back from work and I am excited to make a new video for you guys. And in some of my previous videos, I mentioned that I got a birthday present for one of my cousins. The problem, though, is that it was a Nerf gun that, despite how much she really liked it, she couldn't really use it because the action was a little too stiff for her. She wasn't really strong enough to prime the Nerf blaster. So I wanted to do a little bit of research, and I actually found that Nerf acknowledged that some of their blasters are a little too tough for certain age groups or children that aren't that strong. So they made a Nerf Easy line, and some of their designs are actually really cool. They're not just generic blasters. They themed them and shaped them in really cool ways. I think that these kind of blasters would have been awesome when I was a kid, and I wanted to unbox that for you today, and we can test it out, I guess, and review it. I only got the one blaster, but if I like it, and if my little cousin likes it, then I might get more, so that her and her brother can play together. He's younger than her. She's about 8, and he's 4. But he loves to play with his sister, and he really liked using the blasters, and he's actually like really strong for his age. He wasn't able to prime the blaster, but he was strong enough to pull the trigger, and it was fun watching them play together and shoot the little targets I got for them. And I think if they come to visit us again for Christmas, it would be really fun to watch them play Nerf again. So, without further ado, let's take a look at the blaster. I really like the design of this guy. So it's a lion-themed revolver pump-action blaster. It has 16 darts, and it is the Nerf Easy Play line. So it's specifically designed for children that aren't that strong. See, like 6 years old and up. And I haven't tested it. Obviously, it's still in its case. But if it works as well as advertised, I might look into the other models that they have, because I think that they also made one that looks like a shark and another one that looks like a scorpion and stuff like that. I think it would be really cool to play like a Power Rangers-esque game with the kids, you know, like, oh, you're the good lion people and I'm like the evil dinosaur man or something. I don't know. There's a lot of things that you can do with your imagination, especially when playing with children. In any case, let's take a look at the back here. It describes all the good things about the design. Also, I'm testing out different settings with the microphone. I noticed in the previous one I was a little too quiet, so I'm trying to be a little bit louder so you can actually hear me talk, so that I don't have to be like all down in the mic for you. I mean, I guess I could just put the microphone higher up, but I feel like it's better just to have it sitting on the table. In any case, I think that this should be fine for now. I shouldn't be too loud as long as I'm not talking directly into the microphone. Anyway, so the way that this one is designed, even though it has like a revolving barrel, it's more of a underhanded pump action kind of blaster. And I also like that they had a sort of short stock built into it so that it's easier for them to shoulder it and aim it. The only downside, I think, to this blaster is that it doesn't have any like iron sights or anything. But I think you sacrifice your sights for the cool factor of having a lion-shaped blaster. But yeah, it's supposed to have like an easy trigger and an easy pump. And just look at this thing, it's so cool. We didn't have blasters like this when I was a kid. It was mostly just the ones that look like sci-fi guns or loosely based on like real gun designs, and those were cool, but we didn't have a lot of exploring when it came to the types of blasters that we had. But I had this one blaster that I am so mad that I got rid of. It was I don't know if it was actually owned by Nerf or if it was like its own thing that Transformers did, but there was this truck that you could pull on a handle and open it up, and it turned into Optimus Prime's arm with a blaster, and you could put your arm in it and actually shoot a dart out of it. It could only shoot one dart at a time, but it was so cool that you could just run around and pretend like you were Optimus. It was insane. I'm really angry that I got rid of it, but you know, I thought that I was like all grown up and not gonna play with Nerf anymore, and now I'm like, oh, Nerf is cool. Why did I ever stop? 'Cause like, I don't know. It's just a fun, silly thing to do. I guess it's kind of like you get to a certain age and you don't want to let go of that little bit of your childhood. And you kind of revisit it now that you have adult money, I guess. And now you get to play with the cool new toys that you never had when you were a kid. But this is not really for me. It's for my cousins for when they come over. They come from Virginia, so it's like an 8-hour drive for them to get from there up here. So they don't bring a lot of toys for their kids to play with, so I wanted to get some things that they can play with. I might get them some Lego sets to keep here, and maybe even some Transformers and cars and stuff. Just things for them to fiddle with and play around with when they're here. Not a lot of toys, but enough to keep them entertained when they come. Now, let's see. Gotta get my pocket knife out. Let's see. I think it's just cutting into these little bands here. Nope. Sorry. I'm still playing around with how far the mic is supposed to be from me. And eventually I'll get used to it and I'll learn not to bump my microphone. Anyway. Let's see. I think that's all the tape for that side. Oop. See if we can get some good sounds out of this box before we tear it apart and throw it away. We got Nerf. This is way louder than I wanted it to be. I'm sorry if I'm just blowing your ears out right now. But this is way louder than I want it to be. My apologies if that was a little too loud. But it's pretty light. It's about the same weight as a, what do they call it? The Enforcer, I think. The blue revolver that I have. It's all the way across the room. I'm not gonna abandon you guys to go get it like I usually do. I'm just gonna focus on this blaster for now. But would you look at that? You get 8 shots instead of 6. It looks so goofy from the front, but it looks so cool from the side. It's like, hello, raw. It's like it ate too much, it's like the lion ate too much of something and is like bending its mouth around it. But no, that's cool that you get a higher capacity cylinder than the normal revolvers that I've seen. Now, the color scheme is interesting because it's contrasting with orange and blue. I've seen that color combination a few times, but not in this configuration. It's mostly blue with like orange highlights. Now it's more orange with some blue highlights, so it's different, I guess. feels a little weird as an adult, I guess, to hold it because of the little stock. It kind of like rubs into your wrist in a weird way. It kind of feels like if you were using a pistol brace, I guess, the kind of like thin pistol brace, so you just sit there and kind of support it against your wrist, but it's not long enough, I guess. It's not terrible, like, it's just kind of weird to feel it against your wrist like that. It probably feels way different in a younger kid's hands. It is for 6-year-olds and up, so this might be the perfect size for a smaller person. This is really cool. Let's see how the action. Wow, that's loud. Okay. Okay, so the trigger is very light. That feels really smooth and light. It doesn't take a lot to break that trigger. But I don't know about the pump. The pump might be easy for the kids. I'm not sure. They would need to test it out for themselves, but that trigger breaks almost instantly. It's a pretty big trigger too, so like if they couldn't do it with one finger, like for me, I kind of have to do it with two because of how big my hand is. But if you had like a smaller hand and you couldn't do it with one finger, they could easily use two, and that would definitely help with pulling the trigger. But no, that at least is a plus for me. I mean, the charging handle's fine for me, but I'm way stronger than my 8-year-old cousin, so it would really be up to her and her brother when he grows up a little bit to test this out and see if it's a better fit than the blasters I've presented them so far. But they really liked it. They played for an hour or two just shooting darts at a target. They loved it so much. But I was sitting with them charging the blasters for them while they were shooting the targets, but they had so much fun, and I really liked that, that they enjoyed playing together and having fun. And I made sure that they weren't shooting each other. I was like, only shoot the targets, don't be shooting at each other. But no, they listened and they were coordinated, and they behaved very well. And I think it was a good time overall to teach them how to shoot a Nerf blaster and respect the rules of firearm safety, even if you're just using toys. I mean, the little boy didn't really understand the rules because he's only 4, but he listened very well. And when it came to like, hey, give me the blaster, don't shoot your sister, stuff like that, and he just focused on shooting the targets. And overall, I think it was really cute. And I think blasters like this that are specifically designed for smaller kids would be a big help. So I think that this would be a good addition, and if this gets a thumbs up from them, if they really, really like it, and they're like, can we get more of these? These ones are easier. Then I'll be like, alright, cool. They like it. I'll get one or two more, and then they can play together. And I think that would be something fun. But yeah, the Lion Fury, I think it's called. Yeah, it's called the Nerf Wild Lion Fury Easy Play Blaster. I don't know if the toy line is called Easy Play or if it's Nerf Wild. I don't know, maybe it's like one of them is a subsection of the other. I'm not really sure. I think I've seen normal blasters that are also labeled as Easy Play. So I think that the Nerf Wild line is a subsection of the Easy Play line. The blasters are designed to look like animals, but they have normal ones that just look like normal blasters. So I think that for the next one I might do like a shark, or I think there's a shark, a scorpion, and a dinosaur, I believe. I don't know. We'll see. But in terms of how this guy looks, it has a really cool side profile, and it looks really good in this new camera. I love all the little details, like something that's made for little kids. They put a lot of love into this. I think they really wanted to make an impression on the younger generation that would be playing with blasters. You know, they don't want the little ones to feel left out when playing with the bigger kids, like the 10-year-olds and the preteens and stuff like that. So I think that the designers gave this a lot of love and attention, and I really appreciate when toy makers have the children's experience in mind, I suppose. They're not just here to make a profit, they're here to benefit their kids, I guess. But I think that this is a really neat design and a really cool concept for the younger generation so that they can actually play with their siblings. Because back when I was a kid, it was mostly, I think most blasters are marketed as like 10 and up. So I really couldn't play with my sister. She wasn't really strong enough to use any of my toys when we were little. But I see a lot of potential in this. Like, look at that detail. That's so sick. Looks like I don't know how to describe it, but it's very, like, painterly in a way. It's supposed to make it look like it's on fire or something. But this looks like the kind of toy that you would see from like not Transformers, from like a Power Rangers toy line. But this is just a random design that Nerf decided to make, and I think that's really cool. I think cool things used to be a lot cooler when designers just made stuff for the cool factor. You know, things would sell better if they didn't really care about the budget, I suppose, and they're just like, how do we make something that looks fantastic and we would want to use if we were kids? And I think that might be what they've done here. Now, I don't know the performance of this blaster. I don't know if it's gonna suck or if it's just as good as the normal ones that you would get. But I guess we could test it out. My hat's a little sideways. I have such a big head that sometimes it's hard to get like a proper hat that fits me. I mean, this one fits okay, but I think maybe I bent it or something. I don't know. Anyway. Trying to look through the viewfinder or look through my OBS to see what I'm doing to make sure that I can see what I'm doing properly. But that looks pretty cool. And I like that in terms of color design that companies like Nerf and X-Shot and stuff like that, they try and make their toys contrast with one another, or make their projectiles contrast with the blaster, so that it's not all just one color. It's not boring. They try and make it vary so it looks cool and each part looks different and unique, and I like that. I also like that they put some cool instead of just having like one boring plain tube, they also put like ridges and teeth and all this other stuff on it. Like, this is so neat. I like this a lot. Now, okay, let's test out the blaster. Wow. Let's see how far I can shoot it. I'm going to shoot it past the camera. Wow. That went all the way across the room. That's insane. I'm going to shoot it up the stairs there. Wow. Despite how light the trigger is, the spring in here is robust. It's probably even longer than a normal, like the spring in the, what's it called, a hopper or something. There's like this weird, compressed air tube thing that goes along with the spring so that it will shoot air through the back of the dart, so it will shoot it out. Because there's not like anything that can actually shoot the projectile out. It's not as if all of these little cylinders have springs in them. So the way that it works is they have like little holes in the back of each hole of the cylinder, and there's a spring in here that uh, pushes up against this plunger, essentially, that will create air pressure, and that's what shoots out the dart. It's basically just similar to how, like, if you had like a straw and you blew into it to shoot out like a little ball or something. That's similar to how that would work, but instead of using your mouth to create air pressure, it's using a little spring and plunger combo. So I think that the one inside here is probably pretty tough and strong enough to shoot. So despite it being labeled easy play, it's not weak, and that's surprising. I also like the ergonomics. Despite like the little buttstock they have here for, I imagine it's pretty comfortable for a little kid to put that in their shoulder, but for me it looks comically tiny. But the range and power on the blaster is actually pretty good, so if they wanted to have a little Nerf war with one another, it's not like I'm giving the youngest child the weakest blaster. By no means is this the weakest blaster. It might actually have better, it might actually be more powerful than some of the revolvers I have. And it has better capacity. It has 8 shots. So, overall, I think I would actually prefer to use this in a Nerf battle than the revolvers I currently have. I mean, they're not bad, but this one's slightly better. And I think that would be really cool to be like, okay, kid, you get the coolest blaster here. You get to be the main character, and then I'm the evil space cowboy, and you gotta stop me because I'm the outlaw or something. I think that'd be a really cute time to have like a cops and robbers, or like a sheriff, and like having like a little cowboy standoff and whatnot. But obviously, we would, if we were to use these to shoot at each other for like a cops and robbers kind of thing, I would definitely try and get them safety glasses and stuff so nobody gets hit in the face. But in terms of like just shooting targets and shooting like little figures and stuff, I think that this would actually be a decent Nerf blaster to get. Now, in terms of how easy it is for a little kid to use, I would need a little kid to test that on, and my cousins are not here yet. I don't think that they're actually coming up for Thanksgiving, so they might come up for like an early Christmas. And if they do, then I'll have them test it out. Be like, here, kiddo, take this for a spin and see if you like it. But I think in terms of ergonomics, this charging handle is probably easier for them to charge than to go overhand. I feel like overhand's a little awkward for most people if they're not used to usually with the way that you're supposed to charge a slide on a pistol is some people like to just pull back on the slide, but the easier way of pulling on a slide is you push your arm through while pulling back on the slide. But for a kid, it's a little hard for them to do if they don't have the proper, like, muscles to push and pull in that way. Even on a toy, it's a little difficult. When we were shooting our blasters at targets, the girl could shoot the blaster itself, but when it came to charging the charging handle, that was the most difficult part for her. So I don't know how difficult this is compared to the over the hand, but I'm hoping that this will be a better option for her, given how it's positioned and maybe being able to brace it against herself and then pull really hard until it comes back. We'll see if but this trigger will definitely be easier for her to use, especially since it has enough room to use 2 fingers instead of just one. But no, overall, I think this was a good purchase for, I think I got it for around, like at most, it was $25, which is not bad for a blaster. It is more expensive. I think it's more expensive than getting an Enforcer, which is like the normal blue N series revolver. I think that one is about like $15. I could be wrong. It could have been more, but I believe it's actually cheaper than this. And I mean, it makes sense for this to be more expensive overall, just because it is bigger. It has more, a lot more plastic. It feels a little bit heavier, but I think it's because it's not really meant to be seen as a pistol. It's more of just a tiny rifle for a younger child to use. So I guess it's better to see it more as like a baby shotgun, essentially, but it's a revolving shotgun. Anyway, I think the price is worth it. You know, for $25, a decent blaster. I feel like this is gonna be a fun little toy for the kids to play with, and you know, I could play with it. You know, I'm an adult, but having a little bit of fun and what's the phrase? Indulging your inner child doesn't hurt. You know, it can be therapeutic to just run around and play with a Nerf gun, you know. Or if I'm just super bored and I have like empty soda bottles or something, I can line them up and shoot them just for giggles, you know. I mean, when the kids aren't here, the Nerf blasters kind of just sit in a storage bin. So I think that just having a little bit of fun and messing around doesn't hurt. But mostly I really hope that they like this. Even just for playing pretend, you know, just even if they don't actually use the blaster, but like they run around holding it and pretending that they're shooting lasers at monsters and be like, I am the Lion Man or something. And I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of fun that can be had. And overall, I think that this is, if I know that Christmas is coming soon, so if you're looking into getting something for your younger children to start getting into Nerf so that they can play with their siblings, or if you want to have a little Nerf battle with your 6-year-old and up, then this might actually be a really good option. Though, in terms of adult play or like just bigger kids, I don't think that they would like this in terms of the ergonomics, because like I said, if you're trying to treat it like it's a pistol, then it's gonna kind of just rub up against your wrist in a weird way. But if you like use the stock, I guess, and just like bend your wrist out of the way, it's not that bad. But there's no sights, it's just a lion mane, but you're sacrificing sights for a cool side profile, so I think it's worth it. You get a cool factor. But no, I actually do think that this is worth it. I think that the kids are gonna love this. And it kind of makes me sad though that they don't have kids their own age in our family, at least like on this side of the family. Unfortunately, or fortunately, I don't know, but I don't have children yet. I would hope that when I finally have children that I can have a lot of fun with them, and we can have little Nerf battles together and play all sorts of fun games. But in the meantime, I guess I'll just get my practice in by playing with my cousins. So, in any case, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you would like to see me roleplay with some of my Nerf blasters, or review some new ones that I might get, either for my own fun or for as like little gifts to my cousins or something, let me know. But no, this is actually pretty cool and gonna be super fun for them to play with. I am so excited to see them play. And I'm actually kind of excited to see what the other blasters look like, because if they like this one and they want another one like it, I might actually take them to the store or something, or shop online with them and be like, hey, pick out which one you want next. Like, if we can just have 2 lion blasters, or we can get something else. Like, do you want a shark or whatever? I don't know. We'll wait and see, but yeah, I feel like this was a little more of a lighthearted video, not as serious as my books and poetry and all that. But if you stuck around this long, thank you. I really enjoy spending time with you and just enjoying small moments like this. Whether it be being excited about a present for a family member, or playing around with triggers. I feel like I talk more than I do triggers. Maybe I'll do another trigger assortment video in the next one, but thank you for listen to me ramble on about my cool new blaster. And yeah, I think that's all I have for you guys today. So if you want to see more from me, just like, share, and subscribe, I guess, to all the YouTube stuff. But either way, I'm happy you stuck around, and I'm happy that you're here with me. And I hope that you'll come back so that we can grow together and explore new things to do. We can read more poetry, we can learn some history facts, just do sound assortments, if that's something you would prefer. Just, I'll shut my mouth and we'll just listen to some good old sounds together. It really just depends. But if you have any suggestions for my next video, don't hesitate to leave a comment. And I'll do my best to accommodate for the next one. Anyway, it is getting late, and I'm about ready to rest my hat for the day and take a shower. So I'm going to say goodnight and God bless. Thank you for watching.